Welcome everyone to the Moisky News for June the 29th, 2020. Today I'd like to talk about the Brexit negotiations, because they are set to commence again today. Much excitement, I know. I can hardly wait to see nobody move anywhere and give no ground, and then tell us progress has been made. To then go to their respective journalists in their respective nations, i.e. the UK and the EU, to then say that nothing happened because the other side is inflexible. Well, Boris has decided that he will walk away from Theresa May's plans. Theresa May's plans, for those who don't remember, and they were so universally popular, were to be and retain a certain level of closeness to the EU, which meant that we would obey virtually everything of them, and we would have no say over any changes they implemented. Meaning that we were leaver in name only, or to give it its correct acronym, LINO. Boris Johnson has said that he's willing to leave on Australia terms. I have never heard this term before, so I had to look it up. It means that because Australia does not have a comprehensive trade agreement with the EU and mostly operates under WTO terms, he's basically saying WTO. That's it. Which is actually okay. I'm alright with it, to be honest. Because when you think about it, the UK operates with higher standards in a number of sectors to the EU, yet they want us to operate to their standard regardless, and then continue to change our standards to match theirs. I find the arrogance of the EU to be quite pathetic, but that's because I live in a country, not a member state, which has a national rotating EU president selected to lead their country. That sounds like democracy to me. I can hardly wait for all the other countries of the world to join the EU and for Kazakhstan to have a president at the EU Council. A spokesman for Number 10 have confirmed the Australia terms-related comment, but also saying on the UK's future relationship with the EU, the Prime Minister welcomed the agreement on both sides to an intensified process of negotiations in July. He said the UK would negotiate constructively, but equally would be ready to leave the transition period on Australia terms if agreement could not be reached. The reason, though, for that particular line of commentary was because of Angela Merkel. You know, the hugely successful and popular toad who's had 4 terms in office and will be leaving at the end of next year as leader of Germany. Which, sarcasm sign here if you like, makes sense because Germany run Europe anyway. So Angela Merkel went to a bunch of European newspapers ahead of Germany assuming the rotating presidency of the European Union Council on July 1st, with her saying, with Prime Minister Boris Johnson, the British government wants to define for itself what relationship it will have with us after the country leaves. You have a real talent for stating the bloody obvious. It will then have to live with the consequences, of course, that is to say, with a less closely interconnected economy. So, if Britain does not want to have rules on the environment and the labour market or social standards that compare with those of the EU, our relations will be less close. But if anyone bothers to look at it, we have higher standards on the environment, we have higher standards on social standards. The only area we do need to actually put things in place would be the labour market, where there are a number of policies within the Work Time Directive I do believe should be enshrined within our own law. But as we have a Conservative majority, it is unlikely. She also said that us leaving under a no-deal Brexit would not be a personal defeat for her. This, to me, is a somewhat interesting comment for a number of reasons. Firstly, I just want to press X to doubt, because Germany are one of the biggest advocates for the EU and contribute one of the largest sums to it. How many times have you had to bail out other nations again? Also, this isn't about you, Angela Merkel, and your legacy, and your German-centric perception of Europe as a whole. It is about the United Kingdom taking back the control it lost, and moving forward without being dictated by other countries, because that's a real problem for us. A democratic exercise took place, and we decided, screw you. Currently, the UK's chief negotiator does have a position when it comes to Barnier, indicating he wants him to get real on this, because all they keep doing is stonewalling. Barnier has also indicated that he's willing to be a bit flexible. But I again want to, much like Merkel not making everything about herself, want to press X to doubt. Because I do think there is a problem. The EU, when we left, said that they have to think about the integrity of their single market and protect everything within it. And I can respect that. But you are now in a position where one of those countries, the third largest, as far as the economy goes, is leaving. One of the founding members is walking away. And your solution to that is to show absolutely no flexibility at all, while simultaneously saying, we can be a little flexible. The EU is about as flexible as rigor mortis. And at this point, negotiating with you is also like talking to a dead body. That might be a bit dark by many people's standards. I do apologise if it was at all problematic, but I am correct. With what is going on this week, I'd love to know what you think the UK should do, what David Frost should do when it comes to negotiating, and do you think he will bend? Do you think the EU will bend? Please do let me know what you think in the comments down below.